Hey YouTube friends, today I'm going to be changing the gear oil in my Troy-Bilt Pony Garden Tiller. This is regular maintenance that you should do about once a year. Now this is not the motor oil, this is the gear oil. Two different kinds of oil in this machine. Motor oil is to lubricate the engine. The gear oil is to lubricate the gears in the transmission that make the wheels and the tiller spin on this machine. I want to make sure we keep those lubricated and keep the gear oil changed in those as well. And so I'm going to show you how to do that today. So let's dig in. There's two different kinds of lubricant in this machine. Motor oil, it's a lot thinner. Gear oil is much thicker. But the gear oil that I'm using is heavy duty high performance SAE 80W90 gear oil. This is made by Lucas. Now there's three different plugs you need to know about for changing your gear oil. On the top of the gearbox is your filler cap. And this is just taken off by hand. Down below that, we have the oil level plug. And we take that off because we're going to fill up this reservoir, this gearbox, until the oil reaches this level, and then it will start coming out of that plug. And that will make sure that we have enough oil in the gearbox. The third plug is a little harder to get to, and it is the drain plug. If you go down behind the tire, on the bottom of the differential, here is the drain plug. We'll take that plug out so that we can drain the gear oil out of the gearbox. You have the engine on the front, and you have your tire on the side, and this is your gearbox. Filler cap, oil level plug, the drain plug is under at the very bottom, behind the tire. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to remove the drain plug. And for this we're using a 3/8 inch wrench, or you could just use an adjustable crescent wrench. I like to put a little piece of cardboard down here to make sure that if we have anything spill, we can catch that. And I'm finding that it's a little easier if we'll tilt this up. We can get under here to get some movement on that nut with this big long wrench. We're also going to want to put a container, some kind of a container, to catch the gear oil as it comes out. You can see the oil drain. You can see the oil draining out. It can be helpful to remove the filler cap at this point to increase airflow, and that will make it a little bit easier for the oil to drain. See how thick and viscous that oil is? A lot thicker than motor oil. While that's draining, it can be helpful to sort of tilt it up on its side just a little bit to let it pour out a little bit easier. It's a very thick oil. And while you're waiting for it to drain, you can also remove the oil level plug. Look at that nasty old black oil. That stuff needed to be changed bad. I got this second hand, so no telling how long that's been since that gearbox oil's been changed. Because a lot of people don't realize that that gearbox is there. They think change the oil in the engine, but they don't think about the gearbox. All right, now that we've got the oil all drained out, we can put that plug back in. And I found that it's a little bit easier to sort of tilt that up. I'll tighten that down reasonably tight, but not over tight. Now it's time to fill So we're going to put that there, and we can just sort of squeeze it in. It's very thick, so we'll have to squeeze it. We know we have filled it when the oil, the gear oil, starts seeping out of that hole there. If you don't have a bottle with a nozzle on it like this, you could also use a funnel. So I actually had just enough oil to fill it right up to the edge of that, which is what we want. If you keep going, it's going to start coming out of that hole, and you know that you can't go anymore, it can't hold anymore. 1 quart was exactly the right amount, and I'm looking down in there and I can see it's right to the edge of that. So 1 quart is the capacity. Then the last step is we're going to put that oil fill plug back in. And we'll just tighten that down with the wrench. Again, you don't want to over tighten it. We're not trying to crank this thing down as hard as we possibly can. We just want to get it reasonably tight. And then of course we're going to put the filler cap back on. And then we'll just wipe up some of that excess oil, and then we're done. Romans 12:18 says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And I think that's an important thing for us to remember. You know, just like our garden tiller needs engine oil and gear oil to help reduce friction so that it runs smoothly and lasts longer and doesn't wear out, our relationships need something to lubricate them as well so that we don't wear each other out. Living with people can be messy and it can be difficult, and people's different personalities cause friction in relationships. But there's things that you can do to help with that. We need to give each other grace. We need to be quick to forgive and not hold grudges with each other, not be easily offended by the little things, the little quirks in people's personalities that might get on our nerves. Be patient with one another. Give each other grace. Be quick to forgive. And be kind to one another. Look for ways to lubricate your relationships by showing kindness and being helpful and being polite. These are important things that help lubricate the relationships that we have with other people. And pray for one another. Pray for your neighbors. Pray for your family and your friends. That makes a big difference. It's hard to be easily irritated with someone when you're constantly praying for them. So take some time to pour some of God's spiritual oil into your relationships. It can do wonders. So let's take care of our equipment, but let's take care of our relationships too. And let's get out there and let's grow and be fruitful.